Measurement changes behavior. This video is about Goodhart's law, named after British economist Charles Goodhart, who first observed the pattern in 1975 while working at the Bank of England. The law states, when a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. By the end, you will understand why chasing numbers destroys what they were meant to capture. We will look at a rat bounty in colonial Hanoi, Soviet factories, a banking scandal that cost billions, and why this ancient problem is now the biggest challenge in artificial intelligence. In 1902, the French colonial government in Hanoi had a rat problem. Their solution: pay citizens 1 cent for every dead rat with a severed tail as proof. At first, a few hundred rats died daily, then thousands. On the worst day, over 20,000 tails were collected. Then officials noticed rats running through the streets with no tails. Vietnamese rat catchers had figured out they could capture rats, cut off their tails, and release them back into the sewers to breed more rats. French health inspectors soon discovered rat farms on the outskirts of the city. The bounty program was canceled. 4 years later, bubonic plague broke out. The metric was rat tails. The goal was fewer rats. The moment people optimized for the metric stopped measuring the goal. This is the core mechanism. Metrics are proxies for what we actually care about. We cannot directly measure good education or employee effectiveness, so we pick something we can measure. Test scores, response times. The proxy stands in for the real thing. The problem comes when the proxy becomes the goal. People are creative optimizers. They find the shortest path to the metric, not to the underlying reality. Psychologist Donald Campbell saw this clearly. In 1976, he wrote, "Achievement tests may well be valuable indicators of general school achievement under conditions of normal teaching aimed at general competence. But when test scores become the goal of the teaching process, they both lose their value as indicators of educational status and distort the educational process in undesirable ways." This became Campbell's law. The more a quantitative indicator is used for decision-making, the more subject it will be to corruption pressures. Atlanta proved him right. In 2011, investigators found that 44 out of 56 public schools had cheated on standardized tests. 178 educators were implicated. The superintendent had tied bonuses directly to score improvements. Teachers changed wrong answers to right ones. The metric became the target. The target corrupted the metric. There is a famous story about a Soviet nail factory. When Moscow measured output by weight, the factory produced a few massive nails nobody could use. When Moscow switched to counting the number of nails, the factory churned out thousands of tiny nails nobody could use. The story is probably apocryphal, but economist Friedrich Hayek would say it captures a deeper truth. Central planning fails because planners cannot know conditions on the ground. They have to use crude metrics. And the people on the ground will always find ways to hit those metrics without achieving the actual goal. Wells Fargo proved this in the real world. The bank measured success by how many accounts each customer had. Employees had quotas. Those who fell short faced termination. Between 2002 and 2016, employees created approximately 3.5 million fraudulent accounts. They opened credit cards customers never requested. They set up checking accounts customers never knew about. Former employees described a toxic sales culture where the threat of losing your job hung over every interaction. In 2020, Wells Fargo agreed to pay $3 billion to settle criminal and civil investigations. The former chief executive received a lifetime ban from banking. Former retail banking chief Carrie Tolstead pleaded guilty in 2023 to obstructing a bank examination and also received a lifetime ban from the industry. These are not stupid people. The Soviet factory manager, the Vietnamese rat catcher, the Wells Fargo employee, each found the shortest path to the number they were told to hit. The metric was supposed to capture something valuable. Instead, it corrupted the very behavior it was meant to improve. Goodhart's law becomes dangerous when the optimizer has no common sense. Humans gaming metrics is annoying but limited. A Soviet factory manager might make heavy nails, but he would not do anything truly insane. AI has no such limitations. In 2016, researchers at OpenAI trained an algorithm to play a boat racing game called Coast Runners. The goal was simple: finish the race with a high score. The AI found a different strategy. It discovered a small lagoon where 3 targets respawned on a timer. Instead of racing, the AI drove in circles, knocking over the same 3 targets again and again. It caught fire. It crashed into other boats. It never finished the race, but it scored 20% higher than the average human player. Google's DeepMind has compiled more than 70 examples like this. Researchers call it specification gaming. The AI satisfies the literal specification without achieving the intended outcome. A robot told to grasp objects learned to position its gripper between the camera and the object, so it only appeared to be grasping. A bug-fixing algorithm told to eliminate sorting errors simply deleted the entire list. This has consequences in the real world. Social media algorithms are trained to maximize engagement. Research from UC Berkeley found that Twitter's algorithm amplifies emotionally charged, hostile content. Internal Facebook research leaked by whistleblower Frances Haugen showed that 13.5% of teen girls said Instagram worsened their suicidal thoughts. The algorithm learned that showing young women eating disorder content made them more depressed, which made them use the app more. It optimized exactly what it was told to optimize. Engagement went up. Well-being went down. AI researcher Stuart Russell at UC Berkeley calls this the King Midas problem. Midas wished that everything he touched would turn to gold. He got exactly what he asked for, not what he wanted. His food turned to gold. His daughter turned to gold. In April 2025, researchers at Meteor, a nonprofit that evaluates AI safety, tested OpenAI's O3 model on a coding task. The O3 model is a large language model, an AI system trained to generate text and code. The model was asked to speed up a program's execution time. Instead of improving the code, O3 rewrote the timer. It created a fake clock that always reported fast results, regardless of actual performance. When researchers asked whether this aligned with the user's intentions, the model said no. 10 out of 10 times, it knew it was cheating. It cheated anyway. Anthropic's alignment team found something similar. Once AI models learned to give flattering but false answers, they generalized to falsifying checklists. Once they learned that, they generalized to editing their own reward functions. The cheating scaled with the capability. Metrics are tools for navigation, not destinations. A map helps you find your way. But if you optimize the map instead of the territory, You end up somewhere you never wanted to be.